quickly. How is everyone doing today? Welcome to Tuesday, TLS Tuesday. And for those of you who are tuning in from US, happy Independence Day. And for those of you who are tuning from Canada, happy Canada's Day. It's all happening in the last week. So I want to say happy Canada's Day and happy Independence Day. So welcome. Thank you for joining Melanie and I every single Tuesday. We are here to share, provide tips, educate. That's what we're here for. Before I begin, I guess I introduce myself. My name is Sosan Hua. I'm a dietitian, certified diabetes educator, as well as TL's director of training. And I know last week, Molly did an amazing segment on talking about if you are ready to quit do these three things immediately. So when I was looking at her content, I said, oh, this is amazing content. And I thought, okay, summertime, it's really a very popular time for alcohol, right? We know the impact of alcohol. We know there's nothing really good about alcohol other than you enjoying it. So today I really want to take some time to really break it down for you to understand the impact of alcohol beyond weight loss, and particularly how did it actually affect your weight loss progress. So shall we get started? So first of all, we know that okay, let's just say that in summertime isn't, just think about what's your typical summertime schedule. Okay, a lot more social events. Barbecue is so popular in the summertime, and when it comes to barbecue, very naturally, two things that kind of go to barbecue aside from the barbecue meats and so forth is alcohol, and the alcohol choice is often cold, ice cold beers, or maybe these the cocktail drinks that you're getting, this nice sweet cocktail drink that mixed with juices and your vodka, tequila, whatever it is, or maybe make yourself margarita, make yourself pina colada. Doesn't that sound amazing? Let's talk about it. So first of all, I have about 8 points to talk about alcohol. Number one is that alcohol provides empty calories. So when often enough, we often hear, don't eat too much junk food, processed food, because they provide empty calories, especially things that are sugary, right? Empty calorie means that they provide calories, but no nutritional value. And alcohol definitely provides calorie, but no nutritional value. So for 1 gram of alcohol, it provides 7 calories. It's actually almost double the amount of calories as carbohydrate as well as protein. And for those of you who say, oh, I'm worried about my carbohydrate, guess what? You should be worried about alcohol, because alcohol has almost double the amount of calories per gram. So let's take a look at a typical, say, a 12-ounce beer, or one drink, which is a 12-ounce beer. It's 155 calories. And we say, okay, I'm not drinking beer. I'm drinking the red wine because I know red wine has antioxidants. So a glass of red wine, about 5 ounces, contains 125 calories. Not that much less, isn't it? For the antioxidant you're getting for 125 calories, you're not getting that much. So in that sense, I really don't agree that drinking alcohol or red wine is a good decision. If you want antioxidants, there are so many different getting antioxidants, getting OPC3, getting your fruits and vegetables, so many ways of getting your antioxidant. I don't agree that drinking your red wine is a reason for getting your antioxidant. Okay, so it doesn't provide you nutrient, and the most important thing, it doesn't fill you up, right? When you eat food, at least even a slice of bread, which is not exactly the healthiest choice, at least you get filled up, you get full after eating a certain amount. But when you have a glass of wine, you have one beer, two beer, you don't feel full, right? So it provides excess of calorie, no nutrient, and it doesn't fill you up. So it doesn't even have satiety effect. Second is that alcohol is used primarily as a source of fuel. And if you have heard me say before, our body preferred source of fuel is carbohydrates. But when carbohydrates not available, they will tap into your protein as well as your fat to get energy. But guess what? When you drink alcohol, all the other, like from carbohydrates, from fats and protein, all are put aside, because why? Because alcohol gets absorbed so quickly. So let me talk about how alcohol gets absorbed so quickly. So when we drink alcohol, literally within minutes, the alcohol get absorbed. So 20% of the alcohol get absorbed in your stomach, in that go to your bloodstream. Then the other 80% go to the small intestine, get and eventually get absorbed into your bloodstream. So literally within an hour, this is happening. It's so fast. So once it gets in your bloodstream, your liver's primary job is to metabolize that alcohol. So during, as we know, one of the job of what the liver does is metabolize sugar and metabolize other carbohydrates, right? It's a sugar carbohydrate. But when there's alcohol, they put that aside because their primary function is almost as if the alcohol comes in, everything is secondary. We need to work on the alcohol because they need to detoxify that alcohol. So the liver's focus is on that. And when everything is focused on that, alcohol gets to use as fuel first before anything else. And if anything else is not being used, guess what it does? Store as fat. So it's not just you consuming excess calorie because alcohol has empty calorie. It's the fact that once you drink it, your body actually let go of their job to focus on metabolizing alcohol because it is the primary source of fuel, because it can be used so fast as energy. And as human beings, we want things to be the easiest, and alcohol is the easiest source of energy. And because of that, it causes a body to not metabolize the rest of the, I guess, the energy sources or macronutrient, which is carbohydrate, protein, as well as fat. Then, therefore, we store them as fat. Number three, alcohol has an impact on your liver. We already know that people who drink excessive amount of alcohol, one of the terms that we like to use, which I don't want, is not really, it's something that we heard about, is that there's fatty deposit around your liver. So because of that, we want to, why is it that? Because it shows how your body metabolizes and store carb and fat. And because it is so hard for the body to tap into the fat, and then because they're going to store it because we're not using it. We're using, remember, alcohol comes in first, right? Comes in, metabolized first. It almost comes in and it kind of got in line and it's kind of weave out the rest, like carbohydrate fats, so they get these stored fat. And that's why you have this fatty deposit around the liver, which leads to conditions which everyone is familiar with. Number four, we heard about this before, bare belly. It's interesting. There's research to show that when people drink a lot of alcohol, they tend to store fat around their abdominal belly. And this is that's why we heard the term bare belly. This is another reason why we don't want to drink alcohol, because when we have a lot of fat that stores around our belly, it puts us at a higher risk for a lot of metabolic diseases, right? So we want to reduce that risk. So we don't want to store a lot of fat around our abdominal area. Number five is that obviously when you know that the more alcohol you drink, the more it affects your judgment, right? It reduces your inhibition. So naturally, when it comes to food, your so-called willpower is a lot lower, right? Your willpower's a lot lower. You are kind of let go, let loose a little bit too much. So you start wanted to eat more food, or maybe choosing food that you usually would have chosen, but because you are drinking some alcohol, you are letting loose, you reduce your inhibition, and therefore you make not exactly the greatest choices. And we know that alcohol tends to, just think about how typical pairing of alcohol. How often do you see beer pair up with carrots and celery? No. How often do you see wine pair up with a salad? Not often, right? So when you think of beer, what do you think about? Chips to go with beer, wings like chicken wings to go with beers. When you think about wine, with it? Ooh, cheese and wine, right? You think about these food. So because, or when you maybe have some sort of cocktail drink, you might have chips with that. So a lot of times the pairing of that food also is a problem. And plus it reducing inhibition and the pairing put you as a double whammer, okay? Six, did you know that alcohol actually affects a sex hormone? And one of the sex hormones that's affected is testosterone. And people say, oh, this is a men thing. No, not necessary. Women has testosterone too. We just have a lower level. That's why we don't build the bulky muscle, right? Testosterone plays a very important role in terms of metabolic process that includes muscle formation as well as fat burning capability. So when you reduce that, you actually affects how muscles are being built as well how your body burns fat. Okay, how about seven? People think that, you know what? When I want to relax, I couldn't sleep. I'm gonna have a glass of wine because that helped me to ease, to become more more relaxed, so I can sleep better. No, how many people after a glass of wine or alcohol, or around to the glass of wine, beer, whatever it is, notice that the next day they are not much better. They might fall asleep sooner, but they don't get a better quality of sleep because there's research to show that when you have alcohol before your bedtime, it actually leads to a lot of period of wakefulness during your what we call sleep cycle. So yes, you might fall asleep sooner, but you don't get necessarily get better quality of sleep. And because of that, you actually wake up feeling more tired. And we always say when you have a sleep deprivation, guess what happens? You tend to affect your hormone. You have more cravings. You want to have craving for sugar. So carbohydrate comes in. You start to notice the next day you want to have more sugar. Okay, because you're feeling tired. So one choice the day before has a what we call consequences, not just for that day, but the day after. Okay, I'm removing the whole hangover and all this stuff. I'm just talking simply from choosing drinking alcohol, how your body uses it as a preferred source of fuel and not burning, not using carbohydrate or fat as a source of fuel. That means it ends up being stored as fat. And on top of that, it affects your quality of sleep. So your next day you're still feeling tired. When you don't have good quality sleep, it actually triggers your hormone and you have more cravings. Hmm. One one decision, multiple effects. And last but not least is alcohol actually affects our digestion and nutrient uptake and intake. And what I'm saying that is for those of people who always had a lot of um, I would say suboptimal digestion where they often feel bloated and they feel, I'm eating food, but I don't feel I'm absorbing nutrient. If you have those feelings and imagine you're here eating a what you consider a pretty healthy meal and you have alcohol on the side, you literally did exactly the opposite what you want to do. So imagine I'm having a healthy meal. I'm having my favorite salmon, like grilled salmon, and a big plate of salad or vegetable on the side, and I have a glass of wine with that. Thinking, I'm not doing too bad. I'm gonna have my salmon, my extra protein and omega, rich in omega-3. I have lots of vegetable, but that alcohol does really affects how that meal is being processed and absorbed. And at the same time, it affects the next day, which I just talked about earlier. So all in all, I want to keep it simple. I want you to, next time when you pick up a glass of alcohol, think a little bit more. Are you ready for that? Do you want to, are you ready to accept the consequences of drinking alcohol? And I'm saying that not telling you never to have alcohol. Every now and then, on a special occasion, I do enjoy a glass of red wine. I myself do love red wine. I have to tell you that. But is that my choice? Majority of time, I would say no. Say 365 days, I probably have a glass of red wine maybe 2, 3 days, and that's it. Why? It's because my priority is different. Not so when I don't choose that glass of red wine, I don't feel necessarily deprived because I know what my focus wants to be. Okay. And as I get older, I really want to preserve my liver. I want my body to be better at processing or metabolizing fat and carbohydrate. Um, and I and I'm working hard to eat healthy because I cherish and I value health. And for that, I don't choose it too often, even though I do enjoy it. So next time when you pick up a glass of maybe a wine or your hard liquor or your beer, do a double check, think about it, and ask yourself, is it worth it? And if you think it's worth it, have it, but don't have it too often. And because you will pay for it, unfortunately, the consequences is something that we not ready for it. We don't think about it, but it is happening to us. Okay, hopefully you find this information helpful about alcohol and weight loss, especially in TLS when we did the TLS 101 training. We often say when you do must have alcohol, no more than 3 drinks per week. I would say from a health perspective, the least you have it, the better it is. So, anyways, hope to see you next time. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye bye.